I was going to say something about Drop Dead Gorgeous. Have you seen that movie, Drop Dead Gorgeous? What have you watched?
I don't know.
Have you watched The Fast and the Furious?
Yes.
But you haven't seen Drop Dead Gorgeous. How is this normal? Okay, whatever, it's fine. Write it down right now. From The Cut and the Vox Media Podcast Network, this is Tefi Talks. Why haven't you subscribed to the YouTube? I'll give you a second. Thank you so much. Let's continue. We talk about pop culture, feelings, headlines, news, astrology, but mostly pop culture because why? There's a saying, there's no business like business that isn't mine. This morning, as I was walking into the office, holding my laptop with my vest on, I bumped into someone, a very short man who was maybe in his late 50s, early 60s. Bumped into him because I was, you guessed it, texting and walking. That was my bad. Bumped into him and I said, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And he goes, go fuck yourself. And to that I say, thank you. I love being humbled by a fellow civilian, and I probably needed that. But it did remind me of when I was 24 years old. I was walking around with my then boss, who was I can't even explain him. He was like somebody who would be a great scammer, but also, he was kind of a great scammer, but he's also a guy who would say I speak 6 languages, doesn't speak another language. He would make up these statistics about himself. He wanted me to think he was really, really important. And unfortunately for him, it did not work. I think he went to school for communications or something, but he didn't go to school for political science. He went to school because he thought he was going to become the next president. And he'll tell you about all his presidential personality traits, okay? And he wanted to take me to lunch for some reason, and he was going to walk me there. So I'm in my head to toe rainbow or strawberry outfit, probably holes in my socks. I'm wearing probably a wedge of some kind on my feet. And I'm listening to him and I'm have my Disney princess voice on, yes, of course. That's so nice. Oh, yes. Oh, my God. I completely agree. And we're walking towards a crosswalk. I think we're going to get a chopped salad, which if you live in Manhattan, you know a chopped salad is $26 for a kale Caesar. I don't know what is in that kale Caesar for it to be $26. But yes. And I see this unhoused woman walking towards me. And because I want to show my boss that I am this personable person, sweet, I would never ever showed up late every day. I would never ever show up late and left early every day. And she looks, I'm walking by her and we make eye contact and she goes, and I was like, what? So, no, I said, excuse me? And I go, I'm so sorry, ma'am, I can't hear you. What? And she's like, ma'am, I'm so sorry. She goes, will you eat my pussy? And I'm standing next to this man. And I'm like this. Okay. I've never seen a man. I've never seen a man turn that color. It was so I wanted to die. And I went like this. Oh, okay. And I kept walking. And that's also such a New York humbling moment too, because why the fuck did I ask this poor woman to clarify? Not once, not twice, but thrice, okay? And you know what? I think she really got a kick out of that. Good for her. It's the little things in life. For me, for example, I like setting up rules that I have to live by that are completely made up by myself. I've been doing Sober October. But yesterday, girl, I wanted to have a margarita. That's why I sound like this. That's why I sound like a retired dentist in Key West. Yes, I do. I wanted to have a margarita. And I looked at my friends and I was like, but I committed to this thing. They're like, Tefi, it's a made up rule. Just live your life. Enjoy yourself. Okay. So I did. And I didn't have one margarita. I had 2 at a gay bar. Yeah. Living life. I'm not living Fear and Loathing of Las Vegas level, but I'm having 2 margaritas during Sober October, okay? Am I living life? Yes, large and in charge, with a little umbrella in my drink. And if you've been to a gay bar, you know that is a heavy pour. But I am not living life as well as Justin Trudeau. When I saw those pictures of him and Katy Perry touching mouths on a yacht. One, zoomed in on her legs. Katy, what is your leg workout, babe? What? Two, to watch this is he still prime minister? I don't know. But to watch this Canadian political figure touch mouths with Katy Perry, I'm like, how am I denying myself a margarita when Justin Trudeau isn't denying himself a yacht date with Katy fucking Perry? All that to say, will you eat my pussy? Support for the show comes from Dove. It's getting chillier, which means cuffing season is officially here. And it's not just about finding someone to cozy up with. It's about finding your one true Dove. The right deodorant should feel comfortable and effortless. That's why Dove made their aluminum-free deodorant. It's made to be gentle to skin, and it'll keep you smelling fresh for up to 72 hours. So finally, the search is over. An aluminum-free deodorant that won't let you down. Choose Dove aluminum-free deodorant for 72-hour freshness and odor protection. Buy online at dove.com or at a retailer near you. Turn on that puppy dog Snapchat filter and put on your chunkiest brow because King Kylie is back and she is dabbling in music and film. I do think that Kylie Jenner would be an incredible actress. I think she has a star quality about herself, and I think that she's funny. I remember her being really, really funny before society succubisted, before the society basically made her scared to post, okay? Like, I do think Kylie does have that thing, and she does pop on the screen, and she likes being on screen. I know that she's a Leo, but there's something about her where I could see her doing well on camera, like as an actress, and I'm excited to see that, okay? But she recently released her first official single called Fourth Strike, and she was collaborating with Terror Jr. And if you remember, not long ago, okay, I think like 10 years ago, Terror Jr. had a song called, Three Strikes, and everybody thought that it was Kylie Jenner on the track. I thought so too. And you know what? I fucking love that song. But that's not all. Because King Kylie is also making an appearance in Charli XCX's new mockumentary called The Moment. Charli called The Moment a 2024 period piece. I think that's genius because one, I love Spinal Tap, and two, I love a mockumentary because I love what we do in the shadows. What? Taika, if you're watching this, I love you. I'm so hoarse. I love you. Charli says this about the mockumentary. It's fiction, but it's the realest depiction of the music industry that I've ever seen. And one thing about Charli is that she has been around. And that it sounds like I'm calling her a whore. Nay, I think she's seen a lot of the music industry because people forget, a lot of people have only discovered Charli XCX like within the past year, which is crazy because I remember paying $50 to go see the bitch at Boom Clap. Boom Clap in Bushwick. Not $50, I think 15 with the rest of the Bushwick twinks. Love you guys. You guys have introduced me to some of the best music. But yes, I think that if you watch her old interviews, she has so much insight and frustration about how the music industry actually works because what? It's never just about the music. And my favorite interview of hers is when somebody asks her, oh, so you're from New Zealand and your song Royals is killing it right now. And she goes, yes. And she continues. And they're like, what is Royals about? She's like, it's about growing up in New Zealand. I love that. Okay. That interview within itself could make an entire mockumentary. That alone is the seed. It feels weird to go from King Kylie to a timeless, irreplaceable, iconic talent, but I'm going to do it anyway. For this week's deep dive, we're going to get into Diane Keaton and her life. You're welcome. On Saturday, October 11th, Diane Keaton passed away at the age of 79. Diane was a legendary actor that was known for being able to go between being playful and weight-bearing in mere seconds. And I think that's why I enjoyed watching her on screen so much is that the fluidity of emotions is so relatable to any girl, I think, in the world that feels maybe too sensitive and feels at times the world is gaslighting us. Like, I feel like when I watch her, she's so real and she's so present that when she's talking to an actor on screen, it makes me want to be like, yeah, actually, you know what? Yeah, like I start talking with her. I don't know if that's relatable to you or a symptom of something that I'm going through, but that's none of my business. Diane Keaton was extraordinary at being natural on camera and totally authentic off camera. And I do believe Diane Keaton was one of one. And every single person that has posted something about her passing that knew her in real life says that exact same thing, that she really was one of one. And I believe it. I can't think of one person that reminds me of Diane Keaton besides Diane Keaton. She was the oldest of four. Her dad, John, was a civil engineer, and her mom, Dorothy, was an amateur photographer. And Diane talks a lot in interviews about how she was inspired by her mom. Diane said that she knew she wanted to act when she saw her mom compete in a pageant, which is crazy because I've never seen a pageant girl and been like, that should be. When I was 13, I wanted to be a pageant girl. Why? Because I wanted to wear the dresses and I wanted to get my hair and makeup done. And I love Miss Congeniality. Okay? I won't do it. You can't make me. From sea to shining sea, like Lady Liberty, she reigns upon all she sees. She's beauty and she's grace. She's Miss United States. So, Diane Keaton's mom. There was a Miss America, but there was also a Mrs. America. And that was the world's greatest housekeeper. And that is the pageant that Diane Keaton's mom competed in. They have a competition for everything. They know how to make women compete against each other in just about fucking anything. Diane says that she saw her mother on stage and she remembers thinking, why can't I get up there? Diane described her mother as someone who secretly dreamed of a bigger life, possibly an entertainer, since she sang and played the piano. Diane says that her mom was, quote, in love with her daughter's aspirations. Tale as old as time. Tale as old as time. So after graduating high school, Diane goes to community college, Santa Ana, and then Orange Coast. Community college girls, rise. Okay. Then at 19, she drops out and moves to New York to study acting at the Neighborhood Playhouse. In 1968, just 3 years later, she makes her Broadway debut in the hit musical Hair as the lead Sheila. It is just crazy to think that every actor is just a theater kid. You know? Whenever I'm nervous to talk to an actor, I'm like, I'm literally just talking to a fucking theater kid, you know? In 1969, she and Woody Allen, oh brother, collaborate for the first time in the play, Play It Again, Sam. They almost passed on Diane because she was taller than Woody, who isn't. But thank God they didn't, because she got a Tony Award nomination for Best Featured Actress in a Play. It also starts a long relationship with Woody Allen that wavered between a professional partnership and something more romantic. Oh, brother. You know who else can say the same? His daughter. Yeah! By the time the show opens in Washington, D.C., they had become romantically involved. Oh, brother. And Woody Allen said that after sharing one meal with her during the run of his play years earlier, he fell in love. Quote, she was so charming, so beautiful, so magical that I questioned my sanity. I thought, could I be so in love so quickly? And that's crazy because she wasn't 17. I would be irresponsible as a woman in media to not talk about Diane Keaton's relationship with Woody Allen. And that, I feel, is an elephant in the room every time someone talks about her passing. Woody Allen married his adopted daughter that he helped raise. Yuck! With Mia Farrow. And I feel that Diane Keaton, it's so hard to talk about somebody you admire so much and their work. Like, it's so, and that it was just so normalized. So much, it was so normalized that as a child learning about Woody Allen, people would say it so casually that I felt crazy. And there's also something so jarring about it, and we were talking about this before we started filming the pod, that because his adopted daughter is Asian, there is this like underlying racist undertone where if his wife was this blonde, blue-eyed woman, this may have been a different conversation. But because they don't look alike, that it was almost kind of okay for people who were like, well, and it's just, there's no way around it. For him to be continually welcomed into Hollywood and write these love stories. I cannot watch a Woody Allen film now and see his romantic tropes and think, is he writing this thinking about his teen daughter? But that's just that on Woody Allen. Fuck you. And it's so sad. So back to Diane Keaton, okay? I think we can respect her career and not respect her relationship with Woody Allen. Unfortunately, the beginning of her career has a lot to do with Woody Allen. So she does some television appearances, but she really skyrockets to fame in 1972 with The Godfather. That really solidified her as a Hollywood star. Diane inserted a certain complexity into her characters, and that's especially what I love about her character in The Godfather, because while she is kind of this plain Jane woman, there is something so vulnerable and romantic about her. I really think it's the eye contact she holds, but of course every actor maintains eye contact. There is something in her eye that is so warm and welcoming around these horrible mafia deaths. You know what I mean? Like this Cosa Nostra vibe. And then you see Diane Keaton like as a ray of light in The Godfather. When Francis Coppola was asked why he casted her, mind you, she did not read for the role and she knew nothing about the project, but he casted her regardless. He says this, I chose you because although you were to play the more straight vanilla wife, there was something more about you, deeper, funnier, and very interesting. There is this thing about Diane Keaton that is wounded. And her eyes in that movie are also pleading for acceptance and trying to figure out where she belongs in this family and for how long. And I think that's very, very relatable. The role in The Godfather also introduces her to Al Pacino, who she ends up dating for a very, very, very long time. Diane said, quote, the studio didn't want Al Pacino at all and cast him after the two had a chemistry read together. In her memoir, Diane said that she first noticed the shape of Al's nose and then, quote, the kinetic way he moved. That is so romantic. No one has ever told me I have noticed the kinetic way that you move. I don't even know what that means, but it sounds sexy and it gets the people going. To no surprise, after the chemistry read, she said that she developed a crush when they were filming together. What have I said? Every set is an orgy. Every set is an orgy, and if I ever marry someone who is going to be on set, it's going to be over Zoom, and I'm right next to them reading their lines. You need a line? You say, please don't ever touch. Okay, cool. Can you imagine your partner gets cast in Bridgerton? Okay, so after the chemistry read, she develops a crush, okay? She says this, I was mad for him, charming, hilarious, a nonstop talker. There was an aspect of him that was like a lost orphan and like this crazy idiot savant. And oh, gorgeous. You know what? I watched The Godfather and I think that's not a bad looking man. The two started dating in 1974 and they were on and off through the 1980s. For over a decade. While Al Pacino and Diane were off, she did start seeing, get this, Steve Jobs. One thing about Diane was that she was decisive. Here's what she has to say about Steve. He'd start saying things about the computer and I'm going, I have no interest. Do you believe it? And that was the end of that. And yes, I can believe it. I can't imagine being with Steve Jobs and him going on and on and on about this fucking computer while he's holding this apple. Right? And he's like, sorry, I have to fast. I have to be hungry in order to be creative. Okay, bro, eat your apple. While they were on, Diane and Al continue to do The Godfather Part 2 and 3. And the best Godfather is 2. Don't fight me. There is no point. Water is wet, and the best Godfather is Part 2, okay? To say anything other than that is to call me an idiot to my face. She called Al her, quote, unattainable great, because when Keaton pushed for marriage, Al just would not commit. Diane Keaton was cast in Annie Hall by Woody Allen in 1976, and he writes the film with Diane in mind. He says this about Diane: "As time went on, I made movies for an audience of one, Diane Keaton." So Diane was born Diane Hall, and her nickname was Annie, right? So in Annie Hall, menswear, you like my vest? Menswear was central to her character's style, and that is because Diane picks out her own wardrobe for the film. Who else does that? Barbra Streisand. Who do I love? Barbra Streisand. For what film? A Star is Born. Back to Diane Keaton. In her life, Diane was known for her style. She is a style icon. She would wear the high-collared blouses, the wide-leg pants, big fucking belt. Diane loved a big chunky belt, big blazers, tailcoats. She loved a chunky shoe. I can see her in a platform loafer if I close my eyes, and a wide brim hat. She was out here. I feel, wasn't one of the characters in American Horror Story inspired by her? I think I'm making that up. You know what? Fuck it. Did you know that in American Horror Story? I'm just kidding. So Diane dressed herself for the role Annie Hall, whose outfits from the movie have now become so iconic. And it is true. When I think of Diane Keaton, I do think of her in Annie Hall. I'm wearing a vest for her, obviously. I don't think I'm giving Diane Keaton energy. I think I'm giving, can I tell you guys the specials tonight? I think that's the kind of energy I'm giving here. And I'm okay with that. Diane Keaton won her only Oscar for this role, but she was nominated for 3 other movies: Marvin's Room, Something's Gotta Give, and Reds. Before we move on from Al Pacino and Diane Keaton, there is a love letter that was shared by the internet to me that Al Pacino wrote Diane Keaton, and I'm going to read it to you. Dear Di, nicknames get me every time. Dear Di, I am feeling uncomfortably lonely, more than I have in many, many moons. I don't know why this is so. It's perhaps being in a foreign country and not being able to speak the language. You could say that's one of the reasons. But mainly, it's being away from you and what we have together. Oh my God, this is a situationship from hell. Oh my God. As I'm writing this letter, I'm sitting in an outside cafe in Rome. Jesus fucking Christ. It's pouring rain. Oh, I'm looking onto a beautiful square with a church, talking to myself. I've got my hands folded as if I'm in prayer. Oh my God. But in the middle of my hands is a little tape recorder. So it looks like I'm talking to my fingers. That's just the way it looks. This is so intimate. Imagine he's just like talking like this, as though he's talking to Diane. He's like this. I'm just talking to myself. It looks like I'm talking to my fingers. He goes, if only I could dictate this letter without moving my lips. Just trying to tell you I miss you, darling. In a sort of roundabout way, it seems. I will get back to you. Love, Al. I'd rather be beaten with a dry twig over and over again than receive this letter from a man who won't marry me. Ladies, free yourselves! In 1981, Diane Keaton stars in the movie Reds alongside Warren Beatty. Warren Beatty loved himself some pussy. Diane Keaton was nominated for an Oscar for her role in this movie, portraying a journalist, writer, and feminist who leaves her conventional marriage. Diane has always played a complex woman, a modern woman. After the ultimatum with Al Pacino, will you marry me? No. Peace. She starts dating Warren, probably at the same time as 200 other women in Los Angeles. Okay. And Warren is the perfect man post 10-year situationship turned heart-wrenching heartbreak. And Diane Keaton had a great fear of flying. And when she had to fly from LA to New York, Warren flew with her only to fly right back. Quote, he sat down with me and the plane took off and he was still holding my hand. We landed, he kissed me goodbye, and he took the next plane to LA. What do you think about that?
Like, I need that.
She needs that. What you need to do is watch a movie. But the filming took a turn. Warren, as a director, was, according to the producer, quote, completely obsessive, relentless, and it took a toll on the relationship. I do see Diane Keaton being like a bullshit caller. She's like, another take, that was a great take. She's so good at making this face. Isn't that a good Diane Keaton face? Warren says this about Diane Keaton many years after they break up. Quote, she's a combination of integrity and humor and intelligence and fairness and, did I say beauty, and brilliant comedic sense. But do not get it twisted, because Diane took pride in being an unmarried woman. She told people this in 2019. Today I was thinking, I'm the only one in my generation of actresses who has been a single woman all her life. I'm really glad I didn't get married. I'm an oddball. I remember in high school, this guy came up to me and said, one day you're going to make a good wife. And I thought, I don't want to be a wife. No. Chic. Diane had a deep and prolific personal and professional relationship with Nancy Meyers. So Diane starts working with Nancy in Baby Boom in 1987, which is my favorite Diane Keaton movie. Another modern woman who doesn't need a man, okay? She does the iconic Father of the Bride with Nancy Meyers in 1991. Diane almost doesn't do Father of the Bride because she had a Disney film called The Good Mother before, and it had flopped. She's a little traumatized by the flopping, which we get. And Disney, according to Diane, quote, wanted nothing to do with her, and Nancy begged her to join the cast. And thank God she did. Finally, Nancy and Diane worked together on Something's Gotta Give in 2003. Diane plays Erica Berry, a successful playwright who finds unexpected love later in life. Have you seen Something's Gotta Give? Okay, we got one. In her memoir, she says this was her favorite film because she got to film a love scene with Jack Nicholson. And because the back end check came with a lot of zeros when the movie came out. The reason why the check had a lot of zeros is because Jack gave her a piece of his percentage from the movie's gross profits. Okay, Jack, I'll give you that. But I want you to know I'm Team Angelica Houston to the day I die. Nancy Meyers says Jack was genuinely rattled after Diane in character when she told him, I love you. Nancy says this. I was like, yes, I know. It's in the line. It's in the script, Jack. And he said, oh, okay. Because he thought that Diane meant it. He is such a, oh my God, Jack. It's like, he's the kind of guy that believes the stripper really cares about him. You know what I mean? He's like, and you're going to be the best dental hygienist. On top of all of this, Diane gets an Oscar nomination for the role. Side note, one of Diane's last public outings was to Jack Nicholson's birthday party. In recent years, Diane continues acting in comedies and dramas, including The Family Stone. That movie, when she goes, hey, you, throws a fork. Guts me. Oh my God. Because I Said So in 2007 with Mandy Moore, Morning Glory in 2010, The Big Wedding 2013, and Finding Dory in 2016. In 2021, her friend Carol Kane asks her, at this time in your life, what do you value the most? And this is what Diane says. I value a very strong friendship like ours, which I've depended on for such a long time. Girlhood. At the end of the day, it's girlhood. I love to walk with my dog. These are the things I love. And I really do love nature. I love exploring California. I like driving to Arizona. I really enjoy seeing. I guess my favorite thing in life is the fact that I can see. It's just so unbelievable. So sweet. When news of her passing was announced, it was met with an outpouring of love and admiration from people who loved her and had worked with her. Rest in peace to a true original, Diane Keaton. Now let's consider the science. Yeah. We're going to be talking about Diane Keaton's astrology, okay? Let's get into the lab. Support for the show comes from Dove. Fall is full of familiar scents we love, like the smell of your garden after it rains, seasonal candles in the living room, or a warm meal full of your favorite spices. With your home full of scents you love, why not find a new scent to love for yourself with Dove aluminum-free deodorant? Dove lets you give your underarms the same level of comfort and care you give the rest of your body. With scents like cotton flower and sandalwood or lavender and vanilla, Dove aluminum-free deodorant offers long-lasting freshness with 72-hour protection. And because it's made without ingredients like aluminum, baking soda, or parabens, it's gentle on your skin. You also don't need to worry about getting it all over your clothes because it provides a comfortable, clear application. Add to your collection of comforting, nostalgic scents for this season with a new deodorant you can actually rely on. It's an aluminum-free deodorant that won't let you down. Find your one true Dove. Choose Dove aluminum-free deodorant for 72-hour freshness and odor protection. Buy online at dove.com or at a retailer near you. Diane Keaton was born on January 5th, 1946. That makes her a Capricorn sun. And you know what, to my Capricorns watching this right now, a lot of changes in your love life lately. What's going on with that? How's your love life lately? Starting to believe in love again, I see. Giving people chances. Not very Capricorn of you, but I love it. Capricorn suns, a timeless sign, timeless icons. I love my Capricorn women. I do think that Capricorns become more playful as they get older because in their youth, they are so goal-oriented and rigid about their time and their goals. They're very goal-oriented people. And I think as they get older, they realize that at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much you work, you should have time to enjoy yourself, you know? Time like sand to the finger pimps, like sand through fingertips. I think Capricorns are at the end of the day an earth sign. And as life goes on, they are more grounded people within reality. Instead of chasing the person that they could be, they start to enjoy the person that they are and the people around them presently. And I do love that about a Capricorn. They are ruled by the planet Saturn. Saturn is a harsh planet to be ruled by. Saturn is associated with discipline and rules. And people like Diane are hyper aware of their limited time on Earth and how to make the most of it through relationships, and that means friendships, of course, accomplishments, but also experiences, okay? I think Capricorn suns later on in life, they really do want to wring life out like a towel and they take more chances and more risks. She's an Aquarius moon. So Aquarius moons are seen more as maybe oddballs, a little bit more detached, and they love the human condition and exploring that. I think they're really interested in people's whys. You know, they're more interested in people's stories. When you are talking to an Aquarius moon, they are absorbing you. I feel like, Emily, Hocus Pocus. Okay. Have you seen Hocus Pocus? Yes. Okay. She's biting back. She's a Scorpio rising. Scorpio risings are so interesting because they're born to evolve. They're born to transform. They're born to empathize, not make excuses. They are emotional, unconventional, and I think Scorpio risings are not afraid of confrontation because they are constantly confronting themselves on how to be better, how to evolve. And with that Capricorn sun, steamroller, you better get out of her way. And she'll think about you and she'll understand why you can't join her on her journey because of her Aquarius moon. But she'll also see you as kind of like weak. I think that she picks up on people's weaknesses and she was very tender. Her Scorpio rising, water sign, she was very tender with people. But the moment she sees you as like a weakling or someone who, she may be like tortured by leaving you, but she has things to do and she will do it. Like she will choose herself at the end of the day. Slow clap for Diane. Can I be a bitch for a second? I'm going to keep this one short because I don't want to expand on it. I think it just is what it is, and I'm going to keep it is what it is in honor of Diane Keaton. Kim Kardashian's brand Skims just came out with a panty that has like a faux bush on it. And I looked at it and I was like, oh, this is sick as fuck. I love this. And people have the nerve to be outraged by bush. By bush. Not George. Pubes. I'm going to say this to this camera, okay? If you can't handle bush, I don't think you're old enough to have sex, or you shouldn't be having sex at all. If a pube deters you from having coitus, I don't think you should be fucking. That's just me. And you know what? Come a little closer. Grow up. Oh my God. Who are you, Woody Allen? And that's our show for today. What have we learned? King Kylie is back, and I think she's going to be great on screen, and I will not be reading your comments below on this. We miss Diane Keaton. She was flawed, and she was great. Justin Trudeau is on a boat, and I had a margarita yesterday. Bush is for grown-ups who have sex, and I'm in a vest. Can I redo the specials today? If you're not already following the show, what are you doing? Follow us everywhere at Tefi Talks. Subscribe on YouTube and all the podcast platforms, and Instagram and TikTok so you can share with your other work bestie. Ew. Tefi Talks is produced by the Vox Media Podcast Network and The Cut. For a special discount on New York Magazine and The Cut, visit nymag.com/Tefi. I'll see you next week. I'm in a vest. Thanks to Dove for their support. You might be searching for the one to bring home for the holidays, or searching for something that lasts. Dove deodorant can be both. It's an aluminum-free deodorant that won't let you down. It's gentle on your skin with 72-hour odor protection and scents you can fall in love with. Find your one true Dove and experience long-lasting freshness with Dove aluminum-free deodorant. Buy online at dove.com or at a retailer near you.